In his new book, The 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare, author Todd Furniss breaks down healthcare problems and solutions to free the industry to do its job. There are 5 major constraints: poor use of primary care, inconsistent accounting and incompatible IT, hidden pricing, restricted health savings accounts, and hyperregulation.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today's a Thursday, and well, actually it's not Thursday, it's Friday. We're doing the Thursday brief a little bit late today, this week, but we're going to talk about a few things really just to give you a heads up on things that are coming. As always, if you like these Thursday briefs or the podcast or anything else we put out, I encourage you to please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to build our base of subscribers, and I'm pleased to report that we've had over 250,000 views of our podcast since we launched about 4 months ago. So we're making good progress, and I think there's an appetite for people to hear the messages that we're trying to put out into the marketplace of ideas. And I'm also encouraged by people who respond back and provide comments to which I can respond and get their feedback. I don't pretend to know everything there is to know. And, I like to say that if I'm the only guy in the room, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So I encourage you to provide feedback whenever you can. And I would welcome the commentary. Today, I want to talk about what's coming. So what's coming is going to be a really, for me anyway, an interesting conversation with a senator to discuss something called KIRA. Now, KIRA is the Competitive Health Insurance Reform Act that was put in place and took effect this January. Now, what it does is it, amongst other things, removes the antitrust exemptions for healthcare insurance companies. Now, we've been talking a lot about antitrust in the broader discussion with media, really around tech companies recently. The prior administration got pretty animated about the topic of censorship with regard to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and others, and they expressed concerns about antitrust violations that could be occurring there. This is different because this is dealing with health insurance, and it's going to have a very, very significant implication for not only healthcare insurance companies, but also healthcare systems, healthcare providers, and others in this in the delivery of healthcare. So if you think about it, one of the things that exists, for example, is that there has been a lot of consolidation in virtually every major metropolitan area in the United States. The acronym for the largest 4 health insurance companies is BUCA. It stands for Blue Cross Blue Shield, United, Cigna, and Aetna. And they generally control the vast majority of the lives under management with regard to insurance coverage in most of the major metropolitan areas. They're going to be subject to a lot of scrutiny over coming months and years as this antitrust law exemption is unfurled and retreated back to protect from their protection. The second thing that concerns is one of the things that's occurred is that antitrust law frequently looks at things like vertical integration, meaning the point of delivery all the way back to the point of payment. And as we know from prior discussions, we've seen United buying up physician practices and hiring physicians directly. They now have over 50,000 physicians employed, and this trend seems to be accelerating for United and others. Now, the reason that's important is because that is essentially a form of vertical integration. They're controlling and informing and influencing the doctors who are delivering care, the referral networks that are being used by those doctors, and then they're informing obviously the payment systems and the payments for those doctors' visits and for the referrals. Now, it gets a little more complicated in some instances because generally what antitrust law worries about is not only consolidation and monopolies, and oligopolies and duopolies, but also anti-competitive behavior. This is where they're using pricing tools and in this instance, payment to change the way that the market works and to reduce competition. So we've already heard about United and potentially others reducing, or first of all, I'm sorry, restricting network access, meaning that doctors can't come into the network. The second thing we've heard is that they are reducing the reimbursements to doctors who are in their network but not employed by the insurance company. And one might quickly assert that is a form of anti-competitive behavior. And then the third thing is that they're hiring doctors directly and then funneling and encouraging directly and indirectly more usage of their own doctors. So I anticipate that this is going to have all sorts of intended and unintended consequences. In a strange way, it could actually cause price to go up if there were efficiencies gained that then reverse pricing out, which is one of the reasons that I so strongly advocate in my book, Shameless Promotion, the 60% Solution, Rethinking Healthcare, far more consumerism. The way that we get around these problems to a large extent is by having a direct relationship with our physician or our care provider and paying for it directly, ideally with cash. And I also advocate ways to get that cash into your hands in a tax advantaged way. I'm pleased to report that I've had several people come to me after having read my book and talk about how they use the tools that are available in the book to negotiate price directly and get a tremendous savings. Most recently, I'm elated to say that a friend of mine said that they needed an MRI and the MRI was going to cost $3,200. And they also needed the radiologist to take a look at the MRI and evaluate it. So that was going to be another $800. And he said, well, my deductible is $3,000. What would the price be if I paid with cash? The answer was that the MRI plus the radiologist's analysis was going to be in the aggregate $562. So not $4,000, $562 total. So I encourage you to, and I'm advocating for the marketplace to adopt more of a consumerism approach. I lay some of this stuff out in the book, of course. But I also want to go back to the issues associated with Kyra that we're going to discuss in more detail with upcoming guests. And we're going to talk about how Kyra really pulls back the curtain and exposes health insurance companies to acts like the Interstate Commerce Act, the Federal Trade Commission Act, the Sherman Act, and the Clayton Act, all of which are designed to prohibit antitrust actions from taking place and from anti-competitive behaviors taking place in the healthcare space. So I think that there's going to be a lot of movement here. There will be a lot of movement here. And I'll also share with you that I'm in the process of writing a law review article. I anticipate writing op-ed pieces and other things for this. So you'll be able to look to our websites as a source of information for a lot of these discussions. I encourage you to read it so you can be better informed. I also anticipate that others in the industry will take a look at these tools and these resources that we put out there and make available. So I want to thank you, just to kind of let you know that that was coming up. I'll look forward to your participation and engagement on the coming podcasts and the briefs. And once again, I'm really grateful for your support and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a great weekend.